A.
922, talking more about vaping, which we've certainly done a lot of because it's become so popular in high schools throughout the country, including right here in Connecticut. In fact, the number of people using e-cigarettes has risen nearly 1,000% amongst young people over the past few years. And to be honest, I'm surprised that's not infinity percent. This is something that just didn't exist not all that long ago. I'm joined now by Dr. Andrew Salner, who can bring us some perspective on what appears to be an epidemic of sorts. And glad to see you again, sir.
Tim,
yeah, glad to have you here. And of course, we're still learning or trying to learn more about how dangerous or not dangerous vaping is. Obviously, nothing's as good as just breathing regular old air and putting nothing into your lungs. So what are some of the primary dangers?
Well, some of the primary dangers primarily are nicotine, Tim. It contains a lot of nicotine. As a matter of fact, the most common e-cigarette, Juul, contains the same amount of nicotine as one whole pack of cigarettes. Nicotine is highly addictive, more addictive than even many opioids that we use. So it is a highly addictive substance, and we worry about the effects of nicotine on young people, and also the fact that we now are learning that that can lean towards young people moving on to cigarettes. So this lifetime of addiction. But in addition, vaping contains many other chemicals. They're now being studied. Formaldehyde, for example, is in e-cigarettes, and that formaldehyde is a carcinogen. Propylene glycol, or antifreeze, is in e-cigarettes. Diacetyl is in some of the flavors of e-cigarettes, which, by the way, supposedly are not being marketed to kids, but flavors like cotton candy and bubble gum contain diacetyl, which causes a medical condition called popcorn lung, where our lungs turn into these terrible injured air spaces. Nickel, tin, and lead have been found in e-cigarettes. So we now know that the liquid that's in e-cigarettes, although it doesn't have the products of combustion like cigarettes, and that was the initial promise, does contain a lot of harmful substances that will cause severe damage to lungs and other parts of the body.
And I think I'm just working off of my own personal experience reporting on this too. I think that the simplest selling point that I think has made these so popular, right or wrong, is that they couldn't possibly be as bad as cigarettes, because almost nothing is. But that is a bit of a false choice. You don't have to choose one or the other.
Why would you possibly put all those substances in your body that are going to cause harm, particularly as a young person where your tissues are developing and are at higher risk for ultimate cancer or other conditions?
So what are some of the other misconceptions that you think people have about vaping?
Well, I think, you know, the safety of it, the coolness of it, the fact that it doesn't have danger to anybody else. Of course, there is a passive e-cigarette use condition that we're now discovering. The fact that it won't have long-term effects. Of course, we haven't studied it long enough to know what the long-term effects are, but we now know from what's in it that it likely will have significant long-term effects. I think those are many of the misconceptions, and you know, I think it's caught on in schools because kids have now said, okay, I can't smoke, I've got to do something. And that's really the reason for Tobacco 21, this attempt to ban tobacco use in sales of tobacco to people under 21. And the purpose of that is high schoolers tell us that their main source of getting e-cigarettes is their 18-year-old friends.
There you go.
And so if we can ban the use of it, the sales of it in people under 21, we hope that it will result in less access for children and young people.
And I know we're going to talk more about that initiative nationwide coming on the Fox 61 News at 4 and 5 p.m. Today too. But yeah, just this idea that it's not really being marketed to kids. Well, you don't need evidence. That doesn't pass the sniff test. The flavors, just making it in the shape of these USB drives to make them concealable. Obviously, that's what's happening. Doctor, I know there's so much more we could talk about. Thank you for the time that you were able to give us today. Glad to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Andrew Salner, always a good friend of the show. Coming up next here on the Fox 61 Morning News, some new state troopers are graduating from their academy today. Taylor DiCello is going to join us with a closer look at what it took for them to get to this point. Stay with us for that.
The old Newgate prison getting a lot of love on Fox 61 social media this morning. James, Joe, Tess, and Maria, stick around because coming up, we're going inside the guardhouse as our CT bucket list tour continues.
You know, for a guy we sent to the prison, he seems to be spending a lot of time out of the prison. Am I right? We went wrong somewhere. We have a forecast that's going wrong down the line as we get closer to Mother's Day. I'm right? We'll talk about it in detail. Stand by. 9:30 half hour coming up next.
$15 million mansion tonight on the Fox 61 News at 10.
Look, a door to another dimension. Oh, no, just a bag.
Train insane or remain the same.
We'll never totally figure them out, but we do know what makes them happy. Meow Mix, 40 years and still the only one cats ask for by name.
Life can be complicated, but my bread shouldn't be. This is my artificial preservative. This is my unknown ingredient. And this is my added nonsense. Arnold Oat Nut, free from artificial preservatives, colors, and flavors, with no added nonsense, just simple ingredients. It's one delicious way I can make smart, wholesome choices I am more than happy to live with. Arnold Oat Nut. This is my bread.
They say at a certain age you just stop caring. I wonder what age that is. New Simply Ageless with Hyaluronic Complex. Plumps and hydrates for your best skin at any age. From CoverGirl.
When I first met with this homeowner, I asked her what sort of a space did she want.
Oh my goodness, I love it. This is an awesome experience to have a furniture place like Raymore and Flanagan come out and help those who need the help.
It feels wonderful to know that we're making a difference.
Thank you, Raymore and Flanagan.
Raymore and Flanagan, proudly supporting the communities we call home.
Here's three-time gold medalist Misty May Trainer for Vein Clinics of America.
I was surprised to see I had vein disease. I didn't think I was old enough, but I didn't want to risk my health or the performance of my legs. So I went right to Vein Clinics of America.
For over 35 years, Vein Clinics of America has been the leader in the treatment of vein disease. Varicose veins and spider veins are much more than an unsightly cosmetic problem. Often it's a serious medical condition. Call or go online now to see if you qualify to book a free, no-obligation consult.
The veins they treated are completely gone. It's like they turned back time.
All treatments are done on an outpatient basis, and many procedures are covered by most insurance plans.
I want my legs to stay healthy, strong, and beautiful. That's why I went to Vein Clinics of America.
Call or go online right now to see if you qualify to book your free consultation. Vein Clinics of America. Healthy looks good.
Call 1-800-519-8047.
Two new Connecticut State Troopers set to graduate the Academy today. Taylor DiCello is going to explain the journey these troopers go through to get to this point.
Also happening today, the old Newgate prison is opening for the season in East Granby, and we've got Keith McGilvery there having a blast, taking a look around as part of our spring bucket list.
It's been fun to see him behind bars.
Oddly enough.
How's it?
And ducking to get through caves because that hurts my old hips. I like to see him do it, not me. Glad you're with us here at 9:30. I'm Tim Lammers.
And I'm Erica Arias. Thanks so much for joining us here this Thursday morning. Right now, we're getting you a live look at the Capitol. The House still debating the minimum wage bill, a debate that started last night. Arguments over whether to raise minimum wage here in Connecticut to $15 an hour over several years. We're going to keep you updated with any new developments as they come in, but they're working on the 11th hour.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Wow. It's just amazing that they're still going like this. But then again, hey, you know how it works out in Washington, Matt. At least some people can filibuster for
You got to give it to them.
Yeah, you know.
They have been up all night long.
You know, they lock the doors on them.
It's an important issue.
Don't come out until you have something settled for us, right? And so that's why they're there. We have a look at the forecast now, which temperatures are not bad at 9:30. 53 in Hartford, 54 in New Haven, 56 in Groton. Now, this time yesterday, we were already seeing some temperatures in the 60s. We started cool. We have some cloud deck out there that's going to slow down the temperature growth. Still going to get into the low to mid 60s today, but it's not going to be upper 60s near 70 like we saw yesterday. And in terms of 70, and I hate to say this because Tim keeps asking, it's going to be a while before we see that again. Clouds up to the north and off to the west. Let me show you the line of storms. Chicago saw some showers. The Ohio Valley's seeing them now. That's really not our problem. This is down over Dixie. Some big storms down over the Mississippi Delta, moving into the Tennessee Valley, and slowly but surely getting drawn up this way. It won't be as potent by the time it arrives here tomorrow, but there will be some rain to talk about. Next 12 hours, we're going to look for the low to mid 60s between 2 and 4 o'clock, and the clouds are going to be a constant factor in the forecast, getting overcast tonight and allowing a better chance for some rain tomorrow. We'll talk about that in detail coming up in a few minutes. 9:33, let's go to the roads, and I hope by now, Maggie, you are looking at less things to worry about. I see a lot of green, so that's got to be a good sign, right?
Green is a good thing, absolutely, and we're seeing a lot of improvement. I mean, it's 9:30, it's about time. There are still a few areas that you may run into some trouble at, so we're going to start off in Manchester, westbound side of 84. If you're traveling along here, passing exit 59, perhaps you'll notice quite a bit of police activity still out there, and the exit ramp to 291 is temporarily blocked off again as police conduct an investigation. So take it easy through this area, plan for those delays. At this point, most of the rush has moved on through, so hopefully that won't slow you down too much. We still have this closure in Stafford. I've been telling you about this all morning. This is Route 319, Orchardville Road, still closed off right between Stafford Road and Route 32. This because of a crash that happened last night. It involved a utility pole. I have to imagine that's why this has taken so long. If you stick to Route 190 and then get onto Route 32, that should serve you fine as an alternate for the time being until it reopens. Here's how we look into Hartford. Not too bad. Again, it's about time. Southbound side of 91, just a minor delay approaching the 84 interchange, but we're moving. Still have this congestion. This is on the westbound side of 84 over the Bulkley Bridge into our capital city, but most of the rush through those East Hartford exits has calmed down significantly. Still waiting for this area to improve. Southbound side of 95 with delays all the way into Greenwich. Back to you.
We do have breaking news here at 9:34. Nursing home workers across the state could strike next month. Caregivers who are represented by the New England Healthcare Employees Union District 1199 SEIU have voted in favor of a new strike deadline, and that new date is June 3rd. If they strike, more than 2,500 workers could be walking off of the job. Right now, those workers are calling for additional funding in the state budget to cover some wage raises industry-wide for the next 2 years. A previous intent to strike notice was set for May 1st, but that was later withdrawn. So again, the new one is June 3rd.
It's a big day for 42 new state troopers. They're graduating from the police academy today. And the state police, they're already looking for their next class.
Yeah, Fox 61's Taylor DiCello is live in New Britain with more on what they have to go through before they're able to cross that graduation stage and call themselves troopers.
Well, Tim and Erica, you can understand the grit and hard work that it takes for these graduates to get where they are today. Families have already lined up and, in fact, have started to go inside to the auditorium, eagerly waiting for their graduates to cross that stage finally as state troopers. They've spent the past 30 weeks at the State Police Academy learning everything they need to do to be a very good state trooper, and they've had at least 17-hour days. And one parent here is actually a retired state trooper. William, your son is graduating this morning. What is it like to have your son go through the same things that you've gone through in your career?
Well, it's very rewarding. He's enjoying it. He's been there for 30 weeks, like you said. It's hard work, and he can't wait to get out on the road and help people out.
What was your favorite part of being a state trooper here in Connecticut?
I was helping people, and it's very rewarding to be out assisting people with either motorists or victims of crimes.
What's your one piece of advice that you would give to all of the 42 graduates today?
Enjoy their career, and it's one of the best jobs that you can have.
Perfect. Thank you so much, William. The state police is also recruiting for their next class right now through the end of this month. It's a very rigorous application process, and you can find all of the details for that application process on our website at fox61.com. The graduation here starts at 11 this morning, and we'll be here to cover it. I'm live in New Britain. Taylor DiCello, Fox 61 News.
Taylor, thanks, and congratulations to all those new state troopers.
Absolutely.
All right, well, approximately 800 kids die from drownings here in the United States every single year. With summer on the horizon, it's an important topic we're learning more about this morning.
A lot of parents, myself included, need to pay attention to all this. So here to explain what the state's doing to keep kids safe in the water, Margot, what do we have?
Erica, good morning. This is such an important topic to talk about. May is Water Safety Awareness Month, and yesterday I was fortunate enough to be the keynote speaker at an event that was held at the Capitol. I met with a task force that's working to improve what's being done in our state, where we see roughly 7 children